The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
What is up, everybody? How are you? What's going on? Hey, I am the host, the Appalachian American. I will be talking to you tonight. I haven't done this in a couple weeks, so I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. But I'm here to have fun and a good time. Got some flashing lights. I'm full. We had some Mexican. It's a good time. It's good Mexican food. Carne asada steak. That man laughing in the background is my channel dad, Brian Lee.
Hey, let's get rocking and rolling, man. We haven't been deported yet.
Yeah. Hey,
Next
unfortunately,
week,
it's just us tonight.
I know. And tomorrow,
right
I
now,
get to pretend I'm you.
David's having some issues, so he'll be here shortly, I guess.
Hopefully.
Dr. Carvanels hates our guts. He says that we can go screw with a wire brush. Just kidding. He's got like family stuff. Anime Nights just kind of dropped off the face of the planet. We don't know where he's at.
Shows up randomly.
Yeah, he's very random. Well, with daylight savings, I guess I don't know that he's been on here since daylight savings time. So he
was here briefly last week, wasn't he?
Huh?
Wasn't he on here briefly last week?
We didn't have a show last week.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. All right.
It was Easter and my AC went out.
Oh.
Yeah. It was terrible. They had the windows open and like it was super loud because you could hear the chickens like bark, bark, bark. And so it was rough.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. But yeah, how was your week? Like, what have you been up to?
Not too bad. Last Saturday we put the new chickens in with the old chickens, and so they've been slowly accommodating to that. And tomorrow, I've got to drive to Richmond to bring my son down here. So
nice. So you're gonna go through. You're gonna go up 81, and you might have an opportunity to stop and say hey, but you probably won't. Cool.
I might have time to wave.
Okay.
I'm going to be pressed for time. I got to pick up the truck 3 o'clock. We got to get it packed. The desire is to come back Sunday, so I don't have to take any time off. That's the desire, but we'll see. Richmond might get rain. It might be fun. And as far as I know, it's only going to be my son and I loading this stupid thing. So fortunately, he only has about 4 or 5 pieces of furniture that are kind of heavy. But moving them out of my sister-in-law's basement. And originally, he was going to get an apartment. He and his girlfriend, and then she's in Texas and was a contractor for Nintendo, and they might be hiring her. So he might end up moving to Texas. So
nice. Hey, I sent you a picture just now. I took my chimney down this week.
Send me is that was on the phone? I thought I saw something flash.
I took my chimney down. It was starting to come away from the
wow.
The wall.
Yeah.
And it was pushing against it. A little bit of the chimney kind of came over onto the covering of the porch.
Yep.
And so it was starting to push that away.
Oh, wow.
And I thought it might fall, so we went on ahead and knocked it down.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's is that wooden shingles underneath, or is that slate?
Yes, it is. Well, it's like it's supposed to be like some kind of, pardon me, some kind of polymer. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Something to
sure.
try and insulate it.
It was old siding that they sided over top of it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cut all that out and get everything
Redo it.
fixed and nice and neat, and should be
Yeah.
back in business.
Very nice.
No chimney.
Yeah.
No more chimney.
We don't have a chimney right now. We've talked about getting a stove or something for the winter time, but we haven't done it yet. The problem is with a wraparound deck is where do you put it?
Yeah.
And then they have some that you can put out a ways, and then it's like, great, where do we put that?
Yeah. Well, mine, I don't have a wraparound porch. Obviously, that was probably the best place to put it. But if we do go back if we do use one, which we probably won't, because it bothers my wife's sinus cavities.
Oh,
If we did, we would just do a metal flue out and up.
yeah.
But anyway, you were talking about chickens. Before we get into the topic about the UK and all their shenanigans,
Yeah.
how do you acclimate new chickens to your old flock?
So we've done it several different ways. When we had, I'm going to put you over here so I'm looking at you while I'm talking to you.
Cool.
So the first time we had, see, when did we get that So the first coop wasn't going to be big enough. So the second coop, we put them when they got to be, I forget how many weeks, but decent size, but not really big. But they're just starting to stop. They're cheap, and actually starting to make real noises, but kind of like adolescents where their voices squeak. Essentially what we did is this year we had to get a bigger one, but we use a dog kennel, a wire dog kennel is what they're in. And when they can go downstairs, they don't have to have, sometimes we have the brooder plate. Sometimes we don't, sometimes just a light. Because the basement's a little cold, and like this time around, I ran the heater a little bit down there, the propane heaters on the wall. But so essentially, at first, what we do is we put them outside when it's nice and sunny. But we have an area. My nice thing about the wire cage, once we get it outside, we pull the bottom out, that plastic bottom, we clean it, but now they can touch the ground. And then we put an area where there's some shade as well as some sun. We give them some food and water. And when we were free ranging our chickens before something started eating them, we just let them go around, and they would, squawk at each other and do things. And then eventually what we did with that batch is we had a fence that went around the new coop in part so that they could get out and walk around. And at first it was fine. And then one of the older chickens realized, hey, if I flap really hard and jump, I can get on the roof and jump in. And so at first all they were doing was kind of pecking them away and getting their food, but eventually they just chillaxed, and next thing I know, all the chickens are in the new coop at night. And I had to move them because it was not enough space, and they're squawking because it wasn't big enough for all of them, right? So then eventually I just take it all up, and some go in the old one, some in the new one. We did something similar with the next batch. And then last year, once we built the newer coop, so we lost 6 chickens. I got the new coop, the bigger one up, and then we still lost one more and that was the end of the free ranging. I was like, whatever's feeding on them, I'm not feeding it. Right.
Yeah.
And again, we only found one carcass, and only 2 of the other ones did I find any trace of feathers whatsoever. So whatever was taking them clean. Right. And I've had people say horned owls or something because, but never when I was out there. So I never saw anything. I one time heard a commotion and never saw anything. So this time around, because we didn't have any broody hens and it was cold when we got the chicks, we did something similar. We took it outside. So the big one, and you've probably seen videos it's 18 feet long, the run, and we're getting ready to put a second run and a tunnel in. We haven't ordered it yet, but that one's just going to be a fence, so I'll put a tarp over it, kind of thing, because that doesn't need to be as predator proof as the coop, right? Because it's just for them to run around in the daytime. Yes, I'll put some precautions down, but it's not going to be Fort Knox. But and we just sent them similar. We had them out outside at first for every day. That was nice enough, and then we had it outside the basement door for like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours at first, and then all day, and then eventually we moved it next to the coop, and we moved it around so they could squawk at each other through the fences, essentially.
How many you got?
How many new ones?
Yeah.
So
well, how
8
many
new
in
ones.
total?
18.
Okay.
So we had 11, and one of them died the other day. I don't know why. Just found her dead in the run, and she's about 3 years old. She was one of the original ones. No sign, right? I had been out there like 2 hours before. I was feeding them. She was running around. I don't know what happened. So the 8 new ones, and they're 3 different types, and we can't remember what they are. But so basically what I did is so eventually what I did is I went in the morning and I let them run around. And then when I let the other ones out, the rooster came all around. It's like, what the heck's going on, right? But I was in there. So anytime any chicken got a little too aggressive, I was stepping it. And usually all I have to do is move to them. They're all afraid of me. I don't know why. I've done all of the things I thought I was supposed to do, right? Pick them up when they're little and hold them and all this stuff. And, so the first couple nights they didn't know to go in up the ladder and go in because the coop's raised up, right? Off the ground. And so at first I was putting them, getting each one of them. I would wait till about now when they're a little bit more docile, and I'd pick them up and I was putting them in the back and putting them on a roost. And even though they were coming, and then at first they weren't sure how to get out. And then after a couple of days of that, they figured out how to get out in the morning, but still getting in was a bit of a pain. So then I went out there one night when they were trying to get in there. So it was a little after sunset, and I basically just kind of pushed them. And when one of the bigger chickens was up on a roost trying to, I could reach in and just poke it, right? Kind of like, hey, you're not to do that. But that's essentially how we introduced them. There's still a little bit of a separate, they're slowly getting integrated. But the bigger chickens will sometimes push them around. But when they get to about the same size, that'll probably end, because that's what happened before, right? Once they level out. And then we've had with other ones where it looked like 1 or 2 were going to be the brutes. When the chickens got bigger, all of a sudden they were best buddies,
Yeah.
So,
hey, what's up, Vinny? I see you in the chat. And Dr. Coffin I thought you hated our guts and told us to go fornicate ourselves with a wire brush. What's the deal? Now you're waving. Was that supposed to be a middle finger emoji? I'm sure it was. Yeah. Vinny, there is a link in your email if you would like to come hang out. Lape, I found a good way of doing that. We're talking chickens while we're waiting on David because David's computer is having issues. But one way that I did was we had them separate, and we were like raising chicks, and then we had them in a stock tank in my garage, and we would wait till they get big enough, and then about midnight, whatever, we would take a handful. We'd take them all out there and just put them in on the roost when it was like pitch black,
right,
where nobody could see anything. And then they would cut the lights when the morning time came and the lights came on. They were like, "Oh, hey, who are you?"
Yeah. Well, and what I also did sometimes in the morning is throw some scratch out, and that gets them all feeding together. And what's crazy is when I have 2 feeders out there because there's so many, but there's one feeder I have hanging, another feeder it's on a block, and all the old chickens will go to that, and the new chickens will go to the hanging one, and it's all the same feed.
Man, I tried the feeders, and I just got to the point where I put it in a 5-gallon bucket and just threw it out over the ground and just let them have at it.
Vinny,
hey guys,
what's up, man? How are you, dude? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a minute. A lot of craziness going on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We just talking about chickens. Man. David's computer's apparently a lot more messed up than we thought. He said he was just going to reboot it and come on.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was going to have to reboot mine. I couldn't get Windows to recognize my microphone. That's why I got on so late.
Apparently, he's got
unplug it, unplug it. Should have rebooted back to Linux and still work.
Yeah, I was supposed to help a buddy out with something, but I'm just waiting for him to get back to me.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, thanks for dropping by. We're just hanging out,
Yeah, of course, dude.
goofing off. Do you have you heard anything about the UK wanting to block out the sun?
Oh yeah, I was talking about that a little bit today.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting how Bill Gates is involved.
Yeah, of course he is.
No, no. Seriously, Bill Gates.
He's the sweetest man on the planet.
Yeah, he's
Him
perfect.
and George Soros, man, all they have is love in their heart.
Oh yeah, these are warm, wonderful people. Did you see the replacement for Klaus Schwab?
Yeah,
I have not. I heard that he was stepping down, but I didn't know.
Oh, you got to find him, man. Let me see if I can find it.
I showed him today.
Oh man.
Maybe I should just make him one of my my avatar things here.
Yeah.
See if I can find it again.
What's up with his left eye, though, man?
Yeah. We thought one guy was really bad. This guy is, yeah.
He's a former CEO of Nestle.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no.
I found it. Oh, you
I don't
got
like
it?
this. Hold on. What the heck? StreamYard's done change things. How do I say? There we go. This is terrifying. This is the thing of nightmares.
Yep.
I don't like this.
Yep.
I mean, he literally looks like a lizard in a human skin.
Yep. And whatever died on his head, I have no idea what's going on there either.
Yeah. He also has said that access to clean water is not a human right.
Yep. He most
so that ought to
certainly
tell
did.
you about to tell you about his attitude.
Yeah. They made a perfect
God.
they made a perfect meme that encapsulates both of them here. It's one is eat the bugs and the other water is a privilege. And they both speak like Nazis.
Well, yeah.
Oh my god. What is wrong with his eye?
I don't know.
Yeah.
His
It's
left
just-
eye.
Yeah, all of the white is all blood red. That's normal. That's normal.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
Peter it looks like Peter Bareback.
Peter Brabeck, that Matti, I guess. Well, even when there's another picture of him, that left eye still looks weird.
Uh-huh. That could be some kind of like blood vessels that burst or something, but it's very, very creepy.
He looks like a Bond villain.
Oh yeah. Well, and they're working with Bill Gates to try to block out the sun. That's a whole plot to a Bond movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Although they've been doing that for years. They've been experimenting for years. So now they're just finally admitting it.
Yeah,
I mean, the U.S. admitted to geoengineering years ago and weather manipulation and everything.
Yep, and they have the whole videos out now too, talk about the chemtrails. That's what they're putting out there for us. So they want to seed the clouds with more aluminum oxide and all these other weird things to reflect the light back up on itself. Now, they're doing this in the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the UK always rainy and cloudy?
Yeah. Looks like they would want some.
Yeah. Because I had a theory that I brought up a couple of times where it's, well, they replaced all the people there. Everyone in parliament and all that stuff. Like they got all their Islamic folk in there. And now that they don't need them anymore, it's like, okay, we're going to put these chemicals into the clouds and everything and just take them all out while the elite run into their bunkers or under their palaces or whatever. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm too Alex Jones right now.
I don't understand what what happened with this cat's eye.
Good
Peter
question.
Bareback, what happened to your eye?
Yeah, same
Slapped
thing
by a
happened.
prostitute.
Apparently.
Same thing happened to the Queen and to Biden at one point as well. So
Yeah. Well, they get. Well, that's one of the ideas. Is it's something to do with one of their rituals where they smack everybody in the eye.
Hey, David.
Yeah. Good
Bonjour. It's also part of the
33.
this and that.
Yeah, one eye.
One eye.
He's showing off that he's a 33-degree Mason.
Yeah.
But getting smacked in the head for whatever reason, they smack each other. You know, you heard of Odin, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, Odin plucked out one of his eyes to become all-seeing and all-knowing.
Right.
Whether or not you believe
barking at.
in folklore and mythology doesn't matter. They do, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
they smack an eye.
In the land of the blind, the
basically
one-eyed man is king.
the one-eyed man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Former CEO of Nestle.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
No wonder he doesn't want people to drink water. He wants them to drink chocolate milk.
No, he doesn't want you to pay 30 cents a litre from the government. He wants him to pay 3 cents a litre from the government and sell you at $3 a bottle.
Guys, us peasants, we don't deserve to drink water. They want us to go into the sewers. You forgot?
Yeah, that's weird.
Isn't it crazy that Hollywood used to be telling us what they're planning, and everybody just clapped and said, "Oh, isn't that nice fiction?"
Yep.
Somebody on X commented and said his inner T800 is showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the memes are great. They're fantastic. Oh, this is crazy.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's gross.
But remember, when Orwell wrote Animal Farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a warning about the powers at the time, right? And he admitted that. After he wrote 1984, he says, if we continue on this trend of allowing governments to decide everything for us,
Mm-hmm.
that they will continue to take more power until there's nothing left.
Oh, yeah.
And do you know what the BBC's response was?
What?
Well, did you know he used to be a BBC correspondent and worked for the Ministry of Propaganda for the British government?
Well,
Who?
I mean, they've been controlling people through media
Orwell.
forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, but they actually used to have a government department called the Ministry of Propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, used to.
Yeah, used to. Air quotations.
They just renamed it the BBC.
Now it's just the Department of Education.
Yeah.
That
This is
too.
wild.
But they scrubbed in 1947. The BBC responded to Orwell's publication of 1984 by scrubbing every article except for one that he ever wrote for them, that all his recordings, and they fired him.
Mm.
He was the third highest paid announcer for the BBC. He was a war correspondent.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know if it's true or not, but allegedly he was the Bernie Sanders of the time.
What, a communist?
Yeah. Well, social democrat. Believed
Yeah.
it. Believed that communism could only achieve victory through voting.
Communism, where they beat you over the head with wiffle ball bats instead of just shooting.
Yeah. Instead
Yeah.
of shooting you, yeah.
It's
But
just-
he fought in the Spanish Civil War and
Mhm.
was shot by Antifa because he wasn't communist enough.
Wow.
His real name was Eric Blair. He was born in India. Yet because he was a white man, he was kicked out. Hey, wait a minute. Doesn't that mean we can kick Indians out? Oh, no, that's right. It only works one way.
Yeah. It's
Uh-oh.
amazing.
We're getting
Anime night
more
is in the
people.
hizzle. What's up, man?
What's up?
I got to talk to my son. Keep going.
So what do you think of Clash Club's new replacement, Anime Night? It was going to be
Have
Ari.
you seen him? Have you seen him?
I haven't.
Yo, bro, this dude looks
Oh, yeah,
like
bro.
straight up.
He's got a demon eye.
He looks like dude, he looks like a
Warm.
Bond villain.
He's warm and friendly. When you see him, you're gonna want to hug him.
Kodo, what's up, man? How are you, buddy?
What's up?
He's the kind of guy that looks like when
Holy
you walk in the room,
crap.
you look around for the white cat and
Yeah.
the piranha
Holy
tank.
crap.
Yeah, there's no white of the eye. It's all blood red in there.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
You walk in
then.
the room and you look
That
for the
is
plastic
nightmare
sheet on the
fuel.
floor.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? I'm looking if I'm standing on a plastic sheet.
oh my gosh, dude. Oh. Oh.
He's the kind of guy that has he's the kind of guy who has two armed guards standing behind him at all times.
I need to take that off my screen. I don't want that evil looking at me all the time. Like
I
that's
know.
just creepy.
He's just looking into your soul and he wants to eat you.
Koda asks, what are we talking about? That's the World Economic Forum. He's the the new chairman of that
The
WEC.
Yeah.
Klaus broke rule 1. You know the rule of the mafia, right? You can lie, cheat, and steal, as long as you don't take from us. Right?
There is,
Yeah, as long as you don't
there
do
is no
stuff.
mafia. What are you talking
He
about?
broke the rule. He stole from the mafia. You don't. That's
well, they're going after him. They said fraud, massages. Oh, sexual thing. Oh, yeah, really? Yeah. What a surprise.
Yeah, no. It wasn't the fact that he got them. It was the fact that he used WF money to pay for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's don't you think it's kind of fun as well that when the Pope kicks the bucket, that's when he officially resigned from everything, because he was still on the board. He left a few months ago, but he stayed on the board. When the Pope died, the same day he resigned completely from everything, and then the following day is when they said they're going after him as well. Interesting how that works. Like I said, they eat their own.
I've often said it, folks. These countries who are all cooperating against you are not going to be cooperating once they destroy you. Yep. They're just fighting to be the last on the menu. You know.
Yep. They're all freaks. Their currencies. Oh wait, we're on YouTube too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say youngins. That's some of their.
Yeah, the initiation at the highest ranks.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy.
And you heard all the stuff too, really connected to that Pope, right?
I've heard a little bit. I'm not exactly like, I know that he's a very he was a very progressive Pope.
He is. He's progressed.
Well, it's not just that. Yeah, he's shit. How to say it without saying it. You guys recall Kathy O'Brien, right? The one who's she was in MK Ultra.
Okay.
Gerald Ford had done bad things, and she was put into that whole operation, and she went through like almost all the presidents, I think up until Clinton. And yeah, she showed how it all worked. And this current Pope, he's a Jesuit, and they're
the CIA, because the CIA operated the Jesuits in the 50s through the
he became Pope because he had blackmail and the other cardinals involving the Sound of Freedom stuff.
Yeah.
And he helped he made the Vatican one of the central hubs for the Sound of Freedom stuff.
Nice.
There's a movie that is also on Netflix that like a documentary thing, and there was a girl who went missing in the Vatican, and he confirmed that she's with God, and the mother flipped out.
Dang.
She was, what do you mean? So he confessed that he knew of what had happened to her, or what transpired, or he helped cover it up, or he was even directly involved.
Look, the Italian government has been fighting the battle on three fronts. You've got, and it's the same in Sicily, right? There are three mafias: the government, the landowners, and the church.
This is true.
And I mean, they didn't say the Catholic Church. They meant them all, right? Every religion. Okay, this is the distinction that most people don't make, is that they're all involved. Anybody who wants power in this world, unless you look at even, I can't say their name, we're on YouTube, and they get upset when you mention it, but a certain resistance organization who fought the British for a long time, as soon as they got power, what did they do? Open the borders to Islam.
Whoa, breaking news. Hold up. Whoa, this is huge. Vinny, have you heard about Epstein's accuser?
Which one?
Virginia Guffrey?
Yeah.
She's dead?
Dead by suicide.
Wow.
26 minutes ago.
Holy shit. This was the one that got hit, right?
I don't think
she got into the car accident a week ago or so.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's the one who wasn't an accident, but it was vehicular involved incident.
Wow, that's
They sent her a message to shut up, and she wouldn't. She asked for help, and it didn't come. Like I said, there's a lot of groups out there, but certain resistance movements, as soon as they get power, what do? They open the borders.
Wow, dude, that is
honest to God movement.
Yeah.
The progressives for the last 70 years have been infiltrating everything.
Yep.
Wow.
Holy shit, yeah. Because she said it when they hit her. She got into a car accident.
That's why they want Trump out.
Yeah, and she. Well, yeah, that is the main currency right now. They said that surpassed drugs. You name it, it surpassed all of it. Because this is a massive business, and it's not like a drug. A drug you use it once and it's gone. Yeah, they said these poor young kids.
Is
multiple.
Yeah, they get
there's a document.
They get them young through the gangs. They raise them up in war zones, and then they send them around the world. And allegedly, the cartels get $5 million a pop to organize these accidents.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot behind all this.
They don't shoot people. They don't shoot people. They have gangs.
They do multiple
cars. They box you in and run you off the road.
One sec, buddy. So we all know that they use the air quotations "died by suicide" thing. That's a message. It's always a message. That's how they did it. They did it with all of them. The way they did to Chris Cornell and all the rest of them. You know,
Chappie.
Yep. Again, when he went flying off a bridge in a freeway after saying that he's not suicidal multiple times.
Was on his way to deliver evidence against certain people in Hollywood.
Yep. And Tom Hanks took a photo of the spot and everything. I saw all that stuff.
And that red shoe. Remember when he was posting single shoes every time a kid went missing?
Yep. Shoes and gloves. He kept
winding. And their favorite is at sea is taking them out on a boat because and that's what he's saying. He's showing his.
Well, they did it to Maxwell. They did it to Ghislaine's father as well. His body was found.
Yeah, but he broke the golden rule.
Yeah, of course
he broke the golden rule. He stole from Israel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Israel, the UK. Yeah, he was Mossad agent.
It wasn't stealing from the people. Mm-hmm. He stole from the Mossad. He stole from the Mossad's accounts.
Yep. These people are monsters completely, and this is even more disturbing because that Virginia, she's also the one that she said she was fighting for Trump. She said, "Yeah, no, he was never there. He was never there." She said it multiple times because they love trying to throw his name into the ring all the time when it comes to the Epstein shit. The only flight logs he was on was from West Palm Beach to New York, and
she's
back
the one who told us about the third plane
with his entire family. And Epstein was not on there. There was no other flights anywhere between Trump and him and all them. And the reason that he broke all that shit off is because in Mar-a-Lago, Epstein tried to get physical with one of the help's underage daughters, and he flipped out. And that's when he banned him for life. And that was a very long time ago.
And yet people keep bringing up the
take your whore wife. He goes, take your whore wife and yourself and get the fuck away from me. We're done.
Yeah.
So.
Because, look, I get it. There are people in this world are protected, right? The U.S. government cannot take everybody out. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of people on the, the CIA would be very busy.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're taking out judges right now. They're arresting those judges. I don't know if you saw
some,
that. Yeah, they got some of them. Yeah. And from something that's when she got into the car accident. She said she wasn't going to last 4 days. Apparently, she lasted almost 2 weeks.
Dang, dude.
She asked for protection and she didn't get it, and that's very disturbing.
Yeah, it is.
She's gone into kidney renal failure.
So how is
4
it
days to
suicide?
live, transferring to a specialist hospital in urology. Jeez, dude.
I think she was a mother of 3 or a mother of 4 as well.
Dang, dude.
This was no accident.
Nope.
No, they're saying the S word so that anybody who says the truth can stand out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude, that is terrible.
Look, the Italian government said back in '89 during the mafia trials, the biggest currency in the world is truth. If you know the truth, you're either going to be very rich or very dead.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because people don't realize the mafia is a protection for crime. Mm-hmm. They rarely commit. The only crimes they commit are what you would say secondary crimes. They mostly murderers, right, or thieves. Those, mm-hmm. But those who they don't protect are at the mercy of the criminals they protect. Because the average person can't afford protection.
Of course not.
You're not allowed to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the biggest anti-gun advocate from the 1920s was one of the mafia's biggest killers, Lansky. Mm-hmm. Was the biggest anti-gun advocate.
Yep.
Because he wanted to walk into a bank without fearing getting shot.
Yep.
And how many times have you heard that? Oh, my son should be able to go to work without the fear of getting shot. What's your son do? he
sells drugs.
Yeah, he sells drugs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chirp.
Sure. Look, the thing is, okay, the mafia is also the biggest organization that keeps most drugs illegal because again, money laundering and not paying taxes. Taxes are for the peasants.
Yeah,
dude,
like I said,
that's crazy.
Trump's been fighting a war on all fronts is the problem. There's too much going on. I know someone who he I don't want to say this either, but let's just say there is a lot happening that people think aren't happening, and they said more arrests are coming. The judges were just the first step.
Good.
And it's not done because everyone it's like it hasn't even been 100 days fully yet. And everyone's like having an aneurysm right now. It's like, no, he's trying to stop World War III. They're trying to get poison out of the food. They're trying to get rid of all these illegals, the drugs.
The Turkish news was saying the other day.
Say again?
The Turkish news, you said World War III. The Turkish news said the other day that China's got moved 5 armies into position off the coast of Taiwan. Mm-hmm. And then they took it down. Yep.
Because everyone has to be on board.
They were openly bragging that they're firing that China in the Taiwanese Straits. The newspaper, the Taiwanese Straits. It's actually right out of Hong Kong. It's a front for the CCP.
Okay.
So openly bragging that they've tied up 2 U.S. carrier groups in the Gulf and looking for a way to tie up a 3rd carrier group.
Wow.
Because there's all these drones the Houthis are firing. They're not from Iran. They're from China.
Yep.
They're just smuggled out of the coast of Iran. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these countries are not willingly going along with China because they hate the US. That's just their coat and sieve, right? Mm-hmm. The real problem is these countries, they don't know what to do because behind the scenes, China just taps out and says, "Oh, we'll send them. We'll do what we did to Venezuela. We'll send 1 million people into your country, and they'll vote in the commies."
Well, this is why they're going crazy right now about the tariffs, and all the lefties and the commies are all trying to fight against them because he's crippling China right now. Because if their economy completely gets destroyed, Xi Jinping is out. He's out.
Yeah,
he's going to be out because it's the money that's keeping him in there, and their economy's already been destroyed before all this. That's why they're having this back and forth. And in the meantime, you have the UN and the WEF who are pushing Zelensky to continue trying to attack Russia because their big play was that they wanted to get the World Economic Forum. Yeah, they wanted to take over Russia so that they could get all the resources there.
Because they're phony economy.
Yep.
Because they're a phony economy of printing money. Mm-hmm. You can't eat money.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, this is pretty transparent at this point, and everyone's still putting on like this fucking this puppet show for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, that's why no one watches the news anymore. It's because it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
And this is why they're trying to kneecap like Alex Jones and shit, because he has over 100 million viewers a day with everywhere that he broadcasts, and he gets all this information out there, and it's making them shit their pants collectively.
You know, it's also you know who also made them shit their pants?
Who?
Elon, saying that when he said the truth that we're somewhere between 100 and 1,000 years from the next epoch. And you know what happens at the end? You know what happens at every? You know, you've heard of the extinction events. Even the Japanese said in their own history, and the Mayans in their own history, there's been 6 epochs, and when the next epoch hits, 99% of humanity gets wiped out.
Yep.
The Ice Age, there was civilizations before. As I said, you may not believe in mythology and that, but there are books out there that you've heard of astrology, right?
Yeah, a look at Atlantis. I mean, there's so much. Yeah.
Okay.
Look what they found with Egypt.
Yeah.
What was underneath the Great Pyramids? Did you see that? Those columns that went down 2 meters.
I saw a bunch of pictures talking about that, but I didn't understand what it was.
So they found
it's built on an older civilization.
Yes, but what they found, they were using Doppler technology and the satellites and everything. And 2 Italians found this a couple of years ago, actually, but it only came out in a bigger way recently, like a couple weeks ago. So underneath the Great Pyramids, there are literally like there's 2 rows of them. So it's 4 columns and 4 columns. So there's 8 of them, and they're underneath. Like it looks like they're holding up the Great Pyramids. They go down 2 meters. This is fucking insane. This fucking. They said it's double the size of the tallest building in the world, which is in Dubai, and it's going down into the ground.
Yeah.
And there's copper coils wrapped around each of those 8 columns. And they said they also found
processed copper.
Yeah, they also found.
Astounding.
Hold on a second. They also found a sarcophagus at the base of one of those columns, and the Egyptian government is scrambling for them not to release this information.
Oh wow!
Yep.
I've seen this picture floating around.
Well, that's a fake thing. The other one, you see the columns. You see the blue columns there.
Yeah.
That's like what's underneath. And it's going down that far into the ground.
Dang.
There was.
Yeah, it's wild.
Look, out of Africa's been debunked. Okay, the Caucasians were the first people on the planet. They had spread to most of the planet. But other hominids rose as well. But what happened was, it was an epoch event. 15,600 years ago. This was recorded by Egypt. The world was flooded. Egypt recorded the flood thousands of years before the Bible, before any historical text. There was Egypt is older than China by 5,600 years. And they were white. It's been proven now beyond reasonable doubt. They have the same DNA as the bodies they found in the Caucasus Mountains. But that is not the origin. They found another skull 700,000 years older than that in Greece.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
And remember, they also found Otto, the Iceman, in Italy. And yet Otto is over 1 million years old, yet supposedly blonde-haired, blue eyes only appeared 20,000 years ago, according to The Message. They are trying to make, I don't know what it is, why they're so obsessed with erasing the past, but they are literally trying to get us to not go beyond, spaceships are nothing but science fiction.
Yeah, well, that's it. They want to control the narrative, because if they give us the truth, then things are going to be different in a bigger way. And there's a lot of people who do.
If they give us spaceships, that's the end of their power. That's the end of their power structure.
Yep. there's a lot going on. But guys, sorry, I do got to get going now.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Vinny,
man.
for cutting you off before, because I just wanted. I know you're in a hurry.
Vinny, if you
it's all good.
hear anything else about that
Yes.
pyramid thing, that's kind of cool. I didn't know anything about that.
Oh yeah, it's wild stuff. They're saying that they think it was some kind of like an energy like a conduit thing or something. They don't fully
battery, yeah.
They some kind of battery, some kind of like power plant. Because
Nice.
don't forget too, the tips of them were either copper or gold.
Remember, even back in the
pyramids.
1930s, they said they were electrocuted when they went to open the pyramid. But they said, wait a minute, how can we be electrocuted? This is stone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of stuff we don't know shit about. We are completely in the dark when it comes to the ancient civilization, and that's how they like to keep it. The Egyptian government knows more. Don't forget, they took out all the information that was underneath the Sphinx's paw, and then there's the other one that was behind it. They cleaned them all out.
Remember when the Islamics took over, they burnt the Library of Alexander, and they're still trying to cover that up. The Library of Alexander wasn't sacked and burned by the Romans. It was sacked and burned in the modern era by the Islamists.
Yep.
Which included the Book of Thomas, the Book of Mary, and many other books of the Bible that are now considered banned or heretical.
Yep, it's crazy.
Vinny, I will post your channel and everything down below in the description.
Yeah.
But thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks for the
guys.
info, Vinny.
Yeah, always a blast, fellas.
Yeah, man.
Have a great night.
Take it easy.
You too.
Later.
See ya.
I only knew a little. I knew about the. I heard about the column discovery, and I knew that the pyramids were generating electricity somehow. But that's why they took away the keystone, so they could and they ground them.
That's wild.
The Egyptian government.
That is just flat out wild. I did not know that. And I wonder whose sarcophagus is down there.
Probably one of the earliest pharaohs. Because remember, the pharaohs came from the past civilization. That remember, the Arabs were already creeping into Egypt at the time, and by the 16th century, they'd replaced the Coptics as the majority. This is the problem with migration: is that they move in, they eventually destroy the history of the land, and then claim to be the original peoples.
Yeah,
that's what there is. Undeniable evidence that now not that the Africans are actually wiping. There's a genocide going on in Africa. Anybody who is the Bantus are killing off everybody who included, and they're trying to kill off now the Zulus. They're constantly killing. Ethnic minority killings in South Africa are huge.
Dang. That's crazy, man. This is wild. It's kind of blowing my mind, to be honest with you.
Gang warfare has been used as asymmetric conquest, funded by China, where they fund these big gangs like the cartels are just like going on in Colombia, where basically the gang initiation is to go out and kill a white person or whatever, you know. And
speaking about gang initiations and whatnot, how would you guys like to discuss Mr. Carmel? What's his name? It's not Carmel Anthony.
Killer.
Yeah. Stabbed a child, a young man, a 17-year-old.
They're trying to say, okay, they have a photo of the victim making a symbol with his hand, and the BLM mob, the outrage mob, are trying to say that he deserved getting stabbed because he was a racist. And the American Sign Association said, wait a minute, that's an international symbol for I love you. This is how insane they're trying to sell that a black man is allowed to go around killing white people because white people are racist.
Yeah, well, according to this, he bumped into him and was like, "Go ahead, try to hit me," and the kid stabbed him.
He went into the opposition team's room and started daring them to attack him.
Yeah.
He was being initiated. He was proving that black people have privilege. You got to exercise your privilege.
This is awful creepy.
He was being initiated into a new game.
He had to have been.
Yeah.
Had to have been. And Wokeness just posted BLM influencer. The only way blacks will ever get liberation is in blood, hunting whites.
That's the message that they're sending over and over again. And Facebook, they're even allowing. Look, remember Tony got taken down for misinformation and hate speech, right?
Yep.
Yet blacks can claim that Christopher Columbus and all these other historical figures were really black, and we're just they just wear white makeup. You know, the Moors rule it, and they go on about the black samurai and all this other bullshit daily on Facebook. And Mark Zuckerberg says, "But that's free speech."
Yeah.
Because blacks can't. Look, I was going to say something before about Zuckerberg. He gave a speech about an hour ago saying he wants to bring back the old Facebook experience. You can't. Okay? You and your progressive animals broke Facebook, broke YouTube. Now, I know that YouTube and Facebook are still big. That's because nobody has been able to come up with a viable opposition yet. But X is struggling because all the people are because of the constant sabotage. Mark Zuckerberg did not become rich because he was a good, nice guy. He became rich because he paid people to sabotage his opposition, and then he bought them up cheap. The US government has to break up, and they've been told, not just by the left, but by the right as well, that you have to break up Facebook. The left hates Facebook now.
Yeah, well, nobody really likes Facebook anymore. It just sucks.
The left think if they could break up Facebook, they could take, they could, because Facebook's so full of fake bots now.
Yeah.
I think we'll look at it. Facebook's losing shares to what's that Chinese chat program? And there's one in India as well, you know. If India didn't have their own social media, they would be dominating YouTube and Facebook right now, but they're not because they have their own. It's not very, but I mean, again, you know, Facebook and YouTube are going to die to opposition because they, you know, all their pandering to minorities to try and keep them on their platform. Well, India doesn't want a deal with Facebook. They want their own. I mean, don't people get it? We were talking before about Klaus Schwab and the WEF. Don't people get it? All these people who are traitors selling out to Chinese or Indian or these Afrocentric groups, they're only shoveling, you know, the bodies so that they're the last on the last to be rounded up and put on the rail car, sent to the camp.
Let's see what else. What else there's stuff to talk about? Let's see. Other than Virginia Guthrie, fired is trending, but I don't know why. So who got fired?
Matt Getz went to the mega prison in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And he's now pitched doing the same with gangs in America.
That'd be cool.
It's called the Terrorist Confinement Center. CECOT. And according to Matt Getz, who was given a tour, Pete
Hegseth fired Susan Rice from DOD.
Says that it's a greater deterrent.
Who is Susan Rice?
Susan Rice was a notorious figure in the Bush administration, I think, and she served multiple administrations. She was one of the architects of the Iraq invasion.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Policy advisor, diplomat, domestic policy council. Yeah, she worked for something called the Domestic Policy Council. You know, one of the phony unelected groups. She's a member of the Democrat Party National Security Advisor under Obama. She worked for multiple African affairs. She's a Stanford girl, you know.
Yeah. Apparently,
so
Prince Andrew.
Fascist, yeah.
Prince Andrew's trending because of Virginia Giuffre. That sucks, dude. That really sucks.
She was picked to run against Susan Collins in 2020. That's the last thing on her list. Oh, she's the first Jamaican woman to hold that office. All these bloody firsts, you know, get effed. She's a. If you're such a proud Jamaican, why aren't you in Jamaica?
Some of the testimonies from Virginia Giuffre to about Epstein and Maxwell forcing her to have sexual relations with Prince Andrew.
It's a claim that India. There's a claim by the Independent that Trump tipped off Wall Street execs about Indian tariff deal.
Oh, dang.
House of insider trading, according to Wall Street analyst Gordon Johnson. Who's Gordon Johnson? Never heard of him before. And trying to claim he's involved with Klaus. The win. They claim proof of insider trading is because a few people got rich. Look, people knew. These people, they read Bloomberg. They see the news, okay? They don't make hundreds of millions of dollars by sitting around and waiting for the evening news. They are constantly. They see. They do hedge their bets. That's why the hedge market is not as profitable, but in the long term, you know, they are less resistant to collapse. But you know, every so often these hedge markets, they do make a killer market. They make one good bet and it covers all their losses. You know, that's why they have all these That's why they hedge all their bets. You know.
Yeah.
They can afford. You know, they got $10 million to invest, so they put they spread it out but one spread comes good, and every time it does, there's insider trading. No, they're watching the market. They are hedging their bets. They are doing multiple. You look at the closest we got to this, looking at the inside how hedge funds work was during the collapse of Enron. How they have multiple traders with multiple trade, each has a trade floor. You know, with Neeson, who came out over the Barings Bank collapse. He said by the bank was the bank was constantly increasing the amount of funds allocated to his trading, but that's because the other traders weren't making any money. You know, Wall Street is a scam. People don't get it. They want you to invest in Wall Street, but they only pay you. They pay you. You know, they only want to pay you interest. They don't want you to buy and sell shares. They don't want you to become rich like them. That's why.
So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that's talking about Virginia Guthrie being a pathological liar, and that none of this happened.
Well, that's because she named Clinton. Yeah.
Oh.
That's because she named Clinton. Okay. They want to the political animals will take their marching orders from their blue sky leaders, and they'll repeat the talking points without thinking or analyzing or doing any background research. Liberals, you show them the truth, and they suddenly Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Trump's currently in Europe for the Pope funeral.
Man, that has been an odd-looking ceremony.
Well, Zelensky and the other warmongers sat separately from Trump to show solidarity with Ukraine.
Ooh.
Meanwhile,
hey, speaking of Zelensky,
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Okay, speaking of Zelensky,
did you guys watch the White House press briefing?
No.
Mm-mm.
Tim Pool was there.
Tim Pool got White House.
Yeah, he was at the White House press briefing, and
no wonder you're sucking up to Daily Wire because they had one.
He pulled a Zelensky, and true to his brand, he showed up in casual clothing with the beanie and everything.
Nice.
Well, that's the Hardy's bald spot.
I don't care much for Tim Pool, but I mean, he's okay.
Actually, he kind of clashed with the White House press secretary, but it's mixed reports here and there. Yeah. Actually, Seth, we should get you up there.
It'd be fun. It'd be about a 4-hour drive. That'd be all right with me.
Well, anyway, in breaking news, Polish President Duda has called on both Ukraine and Russia to make compromises to reach a lasting peace agreement. And this, of course, has pissed off Zelensky, who says, that won't make a fair and just peace. Russia must withdraw before we negotiate how much they pay us in compensation. It's like, dude, the winners do not withdraw. Oh, except for the US. It's ridiculous. The US can invade Iraq and be the good guys. But Russia says, hey, after 10 years of attacking the people of Donbass, enough's enough. The UN won't act. The world is ignoring this atrocity, so we're going in. And Zelensky dared them. This is, Zelensky talked about peace, but he's your typical Orwellian coward. His actions don't match his words, but liberals don't care about actions, they care about words. They care about power. And people should stop listening to the power brokers and basically look at the actions. If you look at the reasoning for all these various wars and conflicts, we had to invade North Korea. Why? Because they would have invaded us. When? Oh, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anime night. Do you watch? You watch WWE, right?
I've been keeping up with it. I was briefed on WrestleMania and everything and all that.
What was your thoughts on WrestleMania? What'd you think?
It was all right. I was wrong on some of my predictions because I predicted The Rock was going to get involved somehow.
So apparently that was supposed to be The Rock.
But
they couldn't get him to be there. Yeah, all that was for nothing.
Oh, typical Hollywood. Typical.
I'll tell you what the exact reason was for. The reason that Rock came out and asked for Cody Rhodes' soul at Elimination Chamber was because declining sales for WrestleMania. That's it.
Dude.
Yeah, ever since he got
So
involved,
that was a
things been
that was a
going
bit.
downhill.
So it's a blatant bait and switch.
Kinda. They wanted to bait you to come.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was nothing.
Everybody's starting to wake up and realize they set.
There was no
this up.
build up. There was no nothing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dude,
Monday
Night Raw was better than both nights of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. And it was good.
Oh my god!
I mean, I knew Cena was gonna break the record anyway. Like, just pull the trigger, get it out of your pants, and just do it. Because ain't no way Ric Flair is suddenly gonna wake up, revitalized, come back, win the title one last time to make it 17 so no one can surpass it. But that's about as big of a chance as AEW becoming a global juggernaut.
Yeah.
Or a WCW revival. It's not going to happen. And look, I love Ric Flair to pieces. I respect his career and all that. But for Christ's sake, dude, retire. Go home, count the money, spend time with your grandkids while you still can. You can't spend time with your grandkids from a hospital bed.
I didn't care much for Ric Flair, to be honest with you. I didn't like his style.
But Cena, though, I'm glad that he. Well, I mean, the heel turn, the heel turn. I feel like he wanted to do it one last time before really hanging it up, and I'm actually impressed with it, like how he's able to switch from the Cena we knew for the last from 07 to about last year, because I'm getting 2003 2004 vibes when he was still in the Dr. Thugonomics stuff he was doing before they strapped a rocket to him at WrestleMania 21. Which is not a bad thing. It's actually good because he has played a heel before at that time, so he knows what to do. I feel like he hasn't lost his step. Because when you do something and then flip it at the turn of a hat, it's kind of you're real. It just shows the ability and range that Cena can do. But yeah, Monday was way better. Monday was like way better, and I'm like, finally, something worth exciting, something to get excited about.
Sorry, I got ice in my mouth. But
no, you're good, man. You're good.
Yeah, dude. It was definitely Becky Lynch coming out. Did you hear about that?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
That was a good match. I'm glad she won, but she turned around and lost it the next night.
Yep. The usual 24-hour champion. The minute you win it, it's like, oh, sorry, we lost our faith in you. We're gonna put the belt back on Miss Flair over here.
No, they gave it to Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch in WrestleMania, and then it went back to Liv Morgan and Raquel. Hey, I gotta step away. My wife's asking for me real quick. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. It's interesting how things turn out, like all this. It's baffling though. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna put the WWF title on you. We like your style. oh, sorry, you're gonna lose the title the next night on Raw after WrestleMania for shock value.
Like I said, ever since
that's
the
like
Palace
that's
coup,
like that's like that's like them promoting you to manager and CEO. You're all ready to go, and then it's like, sorry, we
we're gonna make you
outsourced your
wait.
job.
Yeah.
We outsourced your job. You're fired. The
That's what I
next
said,
day.
man. This democratized workplace bullshit is, the chumps have taken over. The players have taken over the sport, and now they're running it into the ground, trying to loot as much, from the business as they can before it crashes and burns. The Rock don't care. Look at all the movies he's made. He made $200 million from movies that bombed. He should have been sent the freaking bill. It's ridiculous. But everybody knows. Everybody knows that wrestling is
Showbiz.
Show business, but you don't put the actors in charge of the production because they're pretentious snobs. They hand around the bat and there's no show, there's no production. It's all passing it's all just players passing the bat and taking turns, because it's democracy, it's fair. No, bro. Life ain't fair. Grow up. Get a real job. You're overpaid. The difference is they still have to be athletic. And, you're seeing a decline in the athleticism. You're seeing a decline in the performance, because they don't have any fear of losing their job. And when they have no fear of losing their job, they're not going to put on their best performance. They don't have to entertain the crowd because they expect the crowd to be there. You know what I mean? A lot of people said wrestling died when it went with the, remember the VHS tapes they used to produce, They made a lot of money off them, and the wrestlers started getting upset because WrestleMania was making a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, they...
This whole idea of, I hire you to do a job, but now I'm also going to pay you a share of the business. No way. That's greed.
What are we talking about?
That greed killed WrestleMania.
Yeah.
People like The Rock, they're overpaid. They won't. They talk about fairness, yet they won't retire and let some. They've made hundreds of millions of dollars, but they won't retire because there's still 20 years. I've still got plenty of life in me, and so the young blokes who could pretty much bounce them around the room have to fight with one hand behind their back because The Rock must win.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. It was poor writing. None of the, I like Jey Uso. So him being heavyweight champion, that's pretty cool. I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do with the Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker. Anyway, Knight, you got any input to that?
The Paul Heyman the Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins thing, that was masterclass right there. That was masterclass storytelling, and it goes to show what you could still do. That was like one of the only matches I was legitimately excited about. Though I can write home about. And I'm curious to see what Seth Rollins can do with Paul Heyman as his backer and everything. Because Paul Heyman, he can turn somebody generic and make him into a megastar within 2 weeks.
So, did you watch Raw Monday night?
I caught some replays of it.
Okay, so you heard about who came out to help Seth Rollins, right?
Yes, I did.
All right. So people are talking about setting up a Evolution 2.0. Remember Ric Flair, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista? They did the
Yes.
Evolution back in 2000, whatever. They're saying that Paul Heyman's going to be the Wisdom, like Ric Flair. Seth freaking Rollins is going to be Triple H. They say that Braun Breaker is Batista. They're gonna trying to find a fourth member, and then Becky Lynch went heel and beat the crap out of Lyra Valkyria right after their match. I don't know if you heard that or not.
I heard about that.
So, are they? I think they're setting up to do like NWO 3.0 or something. Evolution 2.0, whatever. People say Evolution 2.0, but it's like, don't you mean NWO 3.0? They did it first.
Yep. Now we just gotta get Hulk Hogan to come out one last time in the black and white. Like, look here, brothers. We got NWO version 3. Exactly.
The biggest icon in wrestling.
Oh my god!
I know that would be hilarious.
I've got the whole thing loaded on my board.
I remember watching a random episode of Nitro when Eric Bischoff came out on the motorcycle and everything. The person playing the person who plays the entrance theme, he kept pushing the new World Order button. I'm like, he's having fun with that.
Yeah. I noticed something at WrestleMania. Every wrestler that got a grand entrance lost.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like they have this elegant
send off. Because CM Punk in Living Color played live and he lost. LA Knight got brought in like some kind of Aston Martin, he lost. Charlotte Flair got brought in like some kind of Rolls Royce, she lost. Cody Rhodes got brought in with like a whole bunch of motocross racers and stuff riding around, he lost. Damian Priest got brought in with Kerry King from Slayer, and he lost. So all these people that had grand entrances lost. I thought that was a little odd.
Is that by design or just?
I would guess so.
But I mean, someone did say that it's a mixture of performance and rehearsed events, but there's also a certain scoring that goes on behind the scenes. So maybe a lot of these people who are grandstanding were hoping to basically front load their performance score so that they would win on the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're probably because in rehearsal they didn't perform too well. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude. Spoilers. So I'm wrestling, yeah. Chelsea Green lost her title. Boo.
That reminds me when because I vaguely remember the funny thing is I remember WrestleMania 23. John Cena came out in that sick ass car, and he won his match. Actually, that was the creepy thing, because I feel like with Triple H and Triple H, we all know he's big entrance and everything, which is fine, but he's gonna lose somehow. But to his credit, he does make good entrances, so you can't really fault the man. But I noticed that because it was like Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, who was the other one? Who was the other one that had the grand entrance? It was Cody Rhodes. It was Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. I know it was those two. I can't remember the third one you mentioned. You mentioned 3 of them. I can't remember now.
CM Punk.
Okay, CM Punk. Looking back at it now that you mention it, it is odd because it was like 3 for 3.
Yeah, everybody
like high octane profile type thing, like entrance, like, oh my god, I love this, and they get their butt kicked 1, 2, 3, and it's like all that pomp and circumstance for nothing.
Yeah, that was super weird, but yeah.
Imagine if Charlotte Flair came out in the most like completely royal-esque way, and then loses.
She came out in a Rolls Royce.
Hey, and she's the women's champion on WrestleMania night. She comes out in this elegant, high-class entrance and loses.
Pretty much, that's what happened.
It's like that. But I am happy for some of the people who did win. I mean, Jey Uso, I will agree, he does deserve his shot. He has earned the title. Same, like we can make the same argument with Kofi. We can make the same argument. Both men, different types of styles and everything, but they were highly entertaining enough to watch and put the trust on. It's like, okay, kid, here you go. We're gonna put our stock into you and see what you can do. So I'm happy he's getting his chance with it, at least. So that's a good thing. At least it doesn't have to be lengthy or anything. Just something, just a test, because they don't want another Jinder Mahal. They don't. Everybody knows. I mean, no disrespect to Jinder Mahal as a wrestler and all that. It's just he had, I wouldn't say draw power. There was just something about him that didn't click as champion. Without the belt, he's fine. I would have probably put him as This is what they should have done at that time. They gave him a monster run, and then as a test, they give him the United States Championship, not as a demotion, but as like a little test before the big one. Like, okay, we're gonna make you the U.S. champion or Intercontinental champion, what have you. We're going to do this as a test run to see how you perform as champion before we put the big one on you. Because that's what the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title are. They are workhorse titles.
Well, that's what the original titles were for originally.
Yeah.
Right, but see, Braun Breaker was the IC champ, and he's gone. I think they took it from him so that would free him up to be this to go after some bigger belts.
That's what I thought too. That's what I feel like too, because it does make sense. Like the timing is actually perfect, because he was dominant as champion. He was dominant. He had the tenacity to back it up. He had the tenacity to back it up, at least.
That's what I've said before. it's a sport. There still has to be that competition there. It cannot be entirely scripted. There still has to be that competition there. Otherwise, you're not getting the fans back.
I remember the days the SmackDown 6. They really put it all together and everything, and now looking at it now, you do see that influence still there, and
well,
to
it's
the
still trying to be SmackDown. It's still trying to be it's still trying to be competitive.
I feel like it's so funny to me how WWE, how Raw is on Netflix now, because
it's commercialized.
It's mind-boggling to me still, because I always remember the days of watching the USA Network in the late 90s around that time, and then when Thursday night SmackDown came on UPN.
But you know what they say in the biz, don't you? You either go to Netflix to succeed or die. You know, there's no in between.
Well, in WWE's case, they have the credit and the backing to do it.
Still succeed, yeah. But I'm just saying,
it's like the Middle East, basically. The Middle East is the WWE, and every empire that fell before it are all the other ones.
And eventually,
Netflix is no different.
Yeah, it's a slowly dying empire. Unfortunately, YouTube is still on the ascendance, you know, and there's, you know,
yeah, they're watching more. They're watching us. Actually, they're like, hey, let's tune into these guys. I remember that. I remember when you guys cracked that 1,000 view and everything. I was shocked that night because I've
done it on a couple of videos. I've had it a couple of times happen on some videos, but I'm just saying there are people out there who are thirsty for original content, and Netflix, half of it just. Well, I get it. I'm not saying that everything should be original, but you know what I mean. They're sick of the remakes.
Yeah. I think we're getting at the time of the night, man. I'm starting to fall asleep. We're gonna do coffee and gaming tomorrow, regular time, 7 a.m. I think, and we're gonna play Minecraft. That should be fun. I've never played Minecraft.
You've never tried Minecraft? My son used to play it all the time.
I've never played it, so I downloaded it, started it, and just kind of walked around a minute. I probably messed around with it for like 10 minutes, so I don't really know what to do.
And tomorrow I'll be messing around with Postal 2.
Okay, cool. So we'll do that and have fun. Coffee and gaming, 7 a.m. So you guys feel free to join. Everybody in our group has got links to that. David, what was the issue with links on your end? Because it worked for everybody else.
I don't know. It just came up and just sat there, and the it had War Room and all the thing, but it was always blank. And I'm thinking, what's wrong? Why is it blank? Why is it not loading? And I don't know, whatever worked. When I clicked the link you gave me, it just went straight up. And this time,
gotcha,
you were all there in the background. So something wasn't loading at my end. I don't know what it was.
Okay, I didn't know if it was the links or not. But anyway, all right, guys. We'll check out everybody's channel. Vinny's channel should be listed below. David's channel's listed below. So is Anime Night and Late. So you guys definitely go check them out. We will be back live tomorrow morning, so bright and early. You guys have a great day. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. Fuck you, New World Order. Fuck you, Bill Gates.
I love you.
You gotta do better than that. I love you.